To my channel. If you're new, I'm Laura J. Hadley. I've been a homeschool mom for more than 20 years, a full-time stay-at-home mom for more than 28 of those years, and I'm on a journey of discovery to see what it would be like to become a published writer. In the meantime, I'm still homeschooling, and so I want to tell you about Sonlight. And if you stick with me on this channel, there will be frequent videos about Sonlight, because Sonlight is the curriculum that I have used since 2002, this being 2025. And I mentioned in a previous Sonlight video that I am not the type to necessarily start what is called a core at the beginning of a school year and end it right at the end of that school year. I'm a little bit more fluid. Each core comes with a study guide. They come in binders like this where you put them together yourself actually when it arrives. I think you can pay extra to have it put together for you. Anyway, it's 36 weeks of school. You can either choose between a 4-day week or a 5-day week. If you do the 4-day, you're thinking and you might do a field trip on that day, you might do a homeschool co-op, what have you. I tend to make a core in the younger years go from anywhere between 1 to 1.5 or 1 3/4 year, just depending on the child. And for most of my bigger kids, older children in high school, they would typically do a core in 1 school year. As it happened, I'm filming this at the end of October in this school year, 2025 to 26, and my now 10th grader didn't finish the core, what would be core 100 in her ninth grade year, which was fine. And so we just continued on through, into this school year. And here it is. So she just finished core 100, filming this on a Monday. So she finished it on Friday. So today is the day where we move all of her books off of what's considered her bookshelf and replace it with her new core 200. I don't know about you, but it just makes me happy to be surrounded by so many books. It makes me feel really grateful and just full of life. I mean, there's like travel, there's stories, there's lessons to be learned. And you just think about the times where people did not have easy access to books, or even, sadly, people in our day and age right now around the world may not have easy access to books, and what they're missing in that. So the fact that I can sit here with these big stacks of books makes me feel very grateful and, dare I say, wealthy. So I checked the Sonlight website because since I've used Sonlight for so long, and I have had 3 children who have already graduated, I do tend to recycle the cores. Now, when I use the word core, I'm meaning that is what it sounds like, you know, the core of something. It's the basis for that curriculum. So in that case, it would be the Bible, the history, and the readers, the literature. And then you would add on anything you wanted on top of that, like your math, your science, electives, what have you. So that's what I mean when I say a core. In high school, Sonlight will give you 2 study guides. And so the parent will have a study guide and the student will have a study guide. And the student can actually use their study guide as their log. But I'll link the video I made about what kind of log I use and all of the reasons why I like to use my log versus using the study guide as a log. I'll link that in the description box below if you want to go back and look at that. So for Core 100, this would be my binder. And once you buy the core one time, then if you have subsequent students and you want to renew the study guide, because they do change things throughout the year, if you want to repurchase a study guide, there is a discounted price on that. I have repurchased. I do not repurchase with every single child, but I have repurchased over the years. So this isn't the same, this is not the same exact study guide that my oldest son would have used when he was in 9th grade, which that 9th grade for him would have been, I think, the school year of 2000, oh my, 2010 to 11 maybe? Hold on, let me think about this. 2011 to 2012, he would have been in 9th grade. So I have repurchased. I did not repurchase for this child who just finished. I just didn't feel the need to. So she did read every single one of these books, and we have been doing school in this new school year for about 6 weeks. So she just had a couple of books to finish up. These books here are just the literature books. It doesn't count for the history books and the Bible books, and then of course science would be separate from that. But you can see that if you have your student embark on a Sonlight core for high school, they are going to come out wealthy with the amount of knowledge and stories and adventures that they will have experienced in their literature reading, which is why Sonlight is considered a literature-based curriculum. And what is the reason that I was drawn to Sonlight in the first place is that it is heavy on great literature. So I have not read every single one of these books. I have read a couple of them, and let's see, what have I read? Well, oh, here we go. I was looking for my favorite one. Here it is, I found it. A Separate Piece. So I read this book when my oldest son was in 9th grade. I don't know, there was something about this book that drew me to it. Actually, when my oldest son was in 9th grade, I had a baby. My youngest was a baby. And if you have ever been a nursing mother and you like to read, you know that that is a fantastic time to read. So I can remember the room I was sitting in for that year reading this book while I had my youngest baby. So if you're not familiar with this book, it's A Separate Piece by John Knowles, and I'm going to read you the back. Set at a boys' boarding school in New England during the early years of World War II, A Separate Piece is a harrowing and luminous parable of the dark side of adolescence. Jean is a lonely, introverted intellectual. Phineas is a handsome, taunting, daredevil athlete. What happens between the two friends one summer, like the war itself, banishes the innocence of these boys and their world. A bestseller for more than 30 years, A Separate Piece is John Knowles' crowning achievement and an undisputed American classic. The National Review calls it a masterpiece. The Observer, a model of restraint, deeply felt and beautifully written. And Warren Miller says, Mr. Knowles has something to say about youth and war that few contemporary novelists have attempted to say, and none has said better. So John Knowles, who died in 2001, was a graduate of Phillips Exeter Academy and Yale University. as well as a recipient of the William Faulkner Award and the Rosenthal Award of the National Institute of Arts and Letters. Oh, I don't know how this never stood out to me. It was actually turned into a movie with Hume Crone in it. Anyway, that's one that I read years ago. Of course, I have read Tom Sawyer. And, oh, Amos Fortune Freeman. I always thought it was interesting that this book would have been included in this core, because I can remember, you know how it is, you don't remember every single book that you read in school if you went to public school, and you definitely didn't read this many books in one school year, for sure. So as it happens, it seems like there's 1 or 2 books in every school year that I can think of that just stands out to me. And so I remember reading Amos Fortune Freeman in 5th grade. So that is a good one. Now, The Call of the Wild, I remember starting that when my son was in 9th grade, and it was just too gruesome. I couldn't get through it, so I didn't continue. Peace Child by Don Richardson, definitely read that when I was in college. And A Long Way from Chicago, gotta talk about that book. If you are not familiar with Richard Peck and his series, A Long Way from Chicago, the next one is A Year Down Yonder, and then there was a third one. I can't think of what the third one is called. A Long Way from Chicago. And, this would be considered young adult literature, but you can see that some of the books in this core are rather heady, deep reading. The Cross and the Switchblade, definitely. This is about gang fighters, drug addicts, teenage runaways, and prostitutes, the toughest and most hopeless kids that New York's ghettos had to offer, until a young country preacher from the Pennsylvania hills arrived on their turf and began preaching a street corner message of renewal, miracles, and God's love. This is based on a true story. That's rather weighty, isn't it? And so what Sonlight does, and I'm glad they do this, is throughout this school year, they'll take a break, from that weightiness and that heaviness for something lighter, but something that will still teach your students something about history or, the human condition, characters, etc. So this book, A Long Way from Chicago, I actually was introduced to it when my oldest son was about 9, and we listened to it on audio, and we absolutely fell in love with it. And he loved it so much that he wrote a play based on the book. And when he was 10 years old, the homeschool group that we were a part of actually agreed to put it on. So at the end of the school year, all of the kids came together and put on his original play that was based on this book. So if you haven't read it, I really recommend it. Let me see, I don't really feel like it's got a good, on the back it doesn't really have a good description. It just says, join Joey and his sister Mary Alice as they spend 7 unforgettable summers with the worst influence imaginable, their grandmother. Oh my word. Let me see when this book was published. In 1998. Here's a little taste. Later, much later, we heard something. We heard a little sawing, singing sound as a file began to slice through screen wire. From the settee, Mary Alice made some tiny, terrified sound. Grandma reached down for something in her sewing basket. The darkness made me see pinwheels like sparklers. I just managed to notice Grandma's rocker was rocking and she wasn't in it. She was standing over me. Keep just behind me, she whispered. I followed her across the room to the kitchen. You wouldn't believe a woman that heavy could be so light on her feet. She floated, and we moved like some strange beast, big in front, small behind. Now we were by the door to the kitchen, and I heard the scuffle of heavy feet in there on the crinkly linoleum. Oh, it's so funny. I love this book so much. So that's a keeper. Let me see if there's anything else that I read in here. That stood out to me. Nope. Oh wait, what is this? The Great. Here's a book I've been meaning to read. I never have, Out of the Dust. You know, that's a classic about the period of our country's history, you know, called the Dust Bowl in the middle of the country, where people had to leave their homes and pack up everything. You can like picture the old trucks just filled to overflowing with all of the stuff. And they just kept heading west until they could find work. Anyway, so she just ended that now, and we're going to restock her shelf with this. And I was so happy today when we got these off of where the shelf where they were being stored, and she went through them, and she just has squeals of delight, because she said as we're going into the fall and winter, she was wanting to read more classic literature, and that's what this core is considered, classic literature. Now, I just went on their website to look to see if, you know, they still had a lot of these books in the Core 200. Quite a few of them are, but not all of them. And I counted, there were only 20, and I feel like this is more than 20, but let me see. 2, 4, 6, 2, 24, 26. Yep. So they actually have narrowed their offerings in the core now. So in that sense, I don't feel bad about not refreshing, because I think all of these are fantastic books and she's going to really enjoy them all. Obviously, I've read Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen numerous times, and one of my sons actually asked me to read this aloud to him. I had never read Jane Austen aloud before to anybody prior to that, and I don't think I have since then. But what I found was that the language actually feels good in your mouth. If you can picture that, you know, speaking the language out loud and having your mouth move in with those words and those syllables, there's just a richness to it. And so I'm going to read you the first couple of paragraphs. If you're familiar with Pride and Prejudice or Jane Austen, they will sound familiar to you, but the first line is a classic. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. However little known the feelings or views of such a man may be on his first entering a neighborhood, this truth is so well fixed in the minds of the surrounding families that he is considered as the rightful property of someone or other of their daughters. "My dear Mr. Bennet," said his lady to him one day, "have you heard that Netherfield Park is let at last?" Mr. Bennet replied that he had not. "But it is," returned she, "for Mrs. Long has just been here and she told me all about it." Mr. Bennet made no answer. "Do not you want to know who has taken it?" cried his wife impatiently. "You want to tell me, and I have no objection to hearing it." This was invitation enough. "Why, my dear, you must know. Mrs. Long says that Netherfield is taken by a young man of large fortune from the north of England, that he came down on Monday in a chaise and four to see the place, and was so much delighted with it that he agreed with Mr. Morris immediately, that he is to take possession before Michaelmas, and some of his servants are to be in the house by the end of this week. What is his name? Bingley. Is he married or single? That first line, that gets me every time. So that's a great one. If you have never in your life read Pride and Prejudice, I really encourage you. Let this be the year you do so. What else? Oh, the Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. I had never read those until that same son who wanted me to read that out loud asked me to read this one out loud as well, which I enjoyed immensely. And oh, here we go. When my oldest son was in 10th grade and I found this book, I immediately had to read it. I hope you can see why I haven't read every single book. It's because I am not the one who is the full-time student. And so that's another reason why I choose Sonlight, because I know that Sonlight has read it, that many people have, and they know that these are quality books that I can trust to give to my children at an age appropriate time. Not that there aren't things, obviously subject matters in some of the books that I would be adverse to them wanting to know, and yet at some point they have to know. They can't leave. You know, it's how do I say, not hard enough to be homeschooled and then suddenly go out into the world, but it is, you know, homeschooling, there is a protectiveness, isn't there? And so what's nice about that is that you can choose the timing for when you share more mature themes, and they can be older so that they can enjoy their childhood longer, if you catch my meaning. So that to say, I trust Sonlight, their book choosing discretion immensely. And then I do review all of the books. I just haven't ever had a chance to read all of the books. And I'm thankful that my children have, because I think that they are richer for it. So this book, I immediately recognized as having something to do with the Camino de Santiago, which, if you're not familiar with the Camino de Santiago, it would be a pilgrimage that's coming from all over Europe, and then you're going to convene into the main Camino and end up at the Cathedral of St. James. What is it called? Compostela? I can't think of the right term in Spanish. So people have been making pilgrimages on the Camino for hundreds of years, and that's what this book is about. So this would be considered historical fiction. It says, an unlikely couple. The year is 1299. 14-year-old Eleanor reluctantly awaits the return of her betrothed, a man she hardly knows, from the crusade. Thomas, broken and disillusioned from years of fighting, finds the very idea of marriage and lordship overwhelming. So, when the village priest sends them on a religious pilgrimage before the marriage, both are relieved. The journey means a postponement of the dreaded nuptials and a last chance for adventure. As Eleanor and Thomas wend their way toward the shrine of St. James, they meet many other pilgrims, each with their own extraordinary tales to tell and ideas to share. There is Etienne, a passionate student of philosophy, Brother Ambrose, gentle teacher of schoolboys, practical Marta, eager for a decent life for her children, and gradually Eleanor and Thomas come to realize the glorious possibilities of the world around them and within each other. This really is a wonderful book. It was written by Francis Temple, and let me see the year. It was published in 1994. Great book. Highly recommend. What else have I read? Oh, of course, Romeo and Juliet. We Have Faces by C.S. Lewis. And I can't remember if I read Pontius Pilate all the way through. I know I started it, and it is a fantastic dramatization of the story about the historical time where Jesus is being brought before Pilate on trial. It gives a lot of backstory to Pilate. It's very fascinating. I should really go back and see if I actually finished it or not, and if not, finish it. You know, I've never read Twelfth Night, so I think I'll take the opportunity in this school year to do that. And also Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I've never read that either, and I feel like I'm missing out on something for not. So it's going to be a good year of reading for her, and I'm happy that she's looking forward to it. So with that, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me ramble on about Sonlight. And if you are a homeschooler or know someone who wants to homeschool and you have not yet looked into Sonlight, might I encourage you to check out the description box and use my affiliate link. I would be so excited if you did that. If you are not a homeschooler, you have no desire to homeschool, you're too old, you're out of school, you don't even have any children anymore, you have no children ever, but you like to read, I would still encourage you to check out Sonlight because you can find some great books, some wonderful literature that will take you on adventures around the world and through time. Here's your outfit of the day. It's casual today for a school day and I had to go to the chiropractor. So I'm wearing a sweater that I actually bought brand new years ago from LL Bean. Jeans that are Levi's, I also bought brand new years ago. My Blundstones, this vest, oh my word, it's another new to me thing that I bought myself, not secondhand, from, where'd I get this? Land's End. My scarf is thrifted though. I've had this for years and I absolutely love this scarf. I love the pattern and I love the softness of it. I'm wearing pearl slits for a little bit of zoom and silver earrings. So there you go, my outfit of the day. Thanks for watching. You take care.